All right, welcome back. We are live back on the Andre Duke Show. How is everybody doing this evening? Just figured we'd hop on in and tackle some of the topics of the day. Very interesting stuff to say the least. Also, hold on, let me get the phone number up. I can get that done. All right. And we'll put that back in. All right. The phone number is up. Number to call 260-255-4069 is the number to call. We'll keep this going for a little bit. Very interesting stuff, to say the least, going on today in the realm of college athletics. But the phone lines are open. Let me get the sponsor deal in here. Give me 1 minute. But how's everybody's Friday night going? But Williams Auto Parts, based in Portland, Indiana. They are here for your new and used auto parts. Go see Rocky. Go see Heath. Sales professionals. Williams Auto Parts has been serving Portland for over 50 years. So there's kind of that. Also, if you are a DIY mechanic or a shade tree mechanic, you're looking to fix something or help somebody out, go to Williams. They might be able to help you. And they ship all over the United States within 24 hours typically. Their phone number, 260-726-8001, located on South Detroit Avenue in Portland, Indiana. So there's kind of got that out of the way. Also, phone line is open. We'll keep this open for a quick hour. Number to call, 260-255-4069 is the number to call. Just figured I would throw that out there. We'll leave it open as long as you want, but very interesting NFL Combine tomorrow. Diego Pavia is going to throw. That's going to be interesting. But the one main topic that I want to get to is Justin Spiro's article that dropped. I think it was today. And going to be very interesting stuff. Just some pretty much damning evidence there. Also, Michigan with a big basketball game tonight. I'm sure they love that. LaTroy Lewis, former University of Michigan coach. A lot of alleged things that went on there. Very interesting stuff. You can read the article at Justin Spiro's Twitter. It's pinned at the top of his page. And very, very just the screenshots are there. The evidence is there. The pictures of the woman are there. All just basically everything with him that went on as it was confirmed. Very interesting. Ohio Tate, the dude from Barstool, has picked it up. A lot of people in the national media are retweeting it and picking it up. Kind of a bad deal for him. I believe Lewis was let go today by the Falcons. I'm trying to see if I can find their media relations deal on so I can read you their quote. Nobody from the Michigan beat, I guess, has picked it up. But yeah, there it is. The Atlanta Falcons. Hold on. The Atlanta Falcons have dismissed assistant defensive line coach LaTroy Lewis from his role. That was about 7 hours ago after the story had came out. So there's kind of that. Not going to try to dive into too much of the minutia. You need to go to Spiro's Twitter and read it. That's the best bet because YouTube is touchy about what you can and cannot say. Try to limit that damage, but yeah, not a good day for Mr. Lewis. He is out of a job, currently unemployed now. Sharon Moore also implicated in this. The victim had communications with Sharon Moore. She turned it into him, and the university done nothing. So there's kind of that. A little bit more on the other side of it. Reese Davis today. Also, if you're new here and you enjoy this content, do us the biggest favor, hit that like and subscribe button. That helps us a ton, helps us grow the platform, but we appreciate all of you for doing that. It's just not to get back onto the Michigan thing, but Michigan was a total complete mess. And I don't know how they're going to rectify that or fix that. I would say that if Ward Manuel and Sharon Moore at the time, if the thing that happened with Sharon Moore didn't completely tank him, this would have when it came out. I mean, obviously. So I look at it and I think that's a hard one to swallow, hard pill to swallow on that front. I'm sure Ward Manuel not real thrilled. Just looking at some other stuff. So getting that together. But anyway, back to Reese Davis. Ironically, I have the Michigan basketball game on tonight, so tons of hoops on. We're getting into almost the end of the regular season of the college hoops thing. Really didn't get to talk a whole lot of hoops. Kind of hard when the college football playoff runs all the way until the third week in January. But also, just throwing it out there, phone line is open. Number to call, 260-255-4069 is the number to call. So there's kind of that. There's Reese Davis released who his top quarterbacks are. No shock there that Arch Manning is going to be leading the way all the way into the regular season, or this whole offseason. A lot of it's going to be a lot of Arch Manning talk. I guess we'll have to find out and see if he's going to be the QB1, the QB that was promised to the University of Texas. Sark and them they got a lot. There's a lot there. I think that, going forward, it's going to be very interesting. Dante Moore was also going to be allegedly selected high this year. He elects to come back. Very interesting. And then there was another article that I seen today that the SEC and Big Ten pooling TV rights, unworkable, not profitable. I'm not shocked by that, because here's what I think they're going to try to do for a it would basically be a monopoly. I don't know what the ACC and the Big 12 would do, or if Fox would have a hat in the ring. But the biggest thing coming down the pipe is going to be the TV rights in 2030 when everybody's up. I think if I look at it, I wouldn't be shocked if ESPN tries to cut Fox completely out. If ABC, Disney, they're not in the best shape, but I wouldn't be shocked if ABC, Disney tries to buy the whole TV rights package between the SEC and Big Ten, and I'm talking and that's also going to be interesting because I think ESPN would probably, you would have other leagues out there that are probably going to have to find a new home, to be 100% honest, because I think ESPN, ABC, Disney is going to try to acquire the Big Ten media rights because they'll have the best inventory on Saturdays. Now, what does that mean? Do I think the ACC could get punted? Yes. I think the ACC could get punted out of their TV rights deal. The Big 12, you may have the Fox may just buy everything that the Big 12 has to offer. And I think that's going to shake up the college landscape, but they say it's unworkable, but I don't know how it wouldn't be workable, because I mean, they would be paying, because ESPN already punted Major League Baseball. I think they did that to clear room for the NFL and I think that some of the other schools like AAC will be playing during the week, because I think during football season they can't touch Saturday for the majority of the Big Ten schools. Now, what I think they could do is the AAC during the months of September could be playing during the week. So I think that will be a fascinating endeavor, because I think ESPN's goal is they may keep the ACC and make them play games on Friday nights, and they could roll college football. They wouldn't play on Monday, obviously, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, maybe not Thursday because of the NFL, but I wouldn't be shocked if you wouldn't be seeing that many games played throughout the week. And then October, Conference USA comes into playing midweeks. They play on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you have MACtion in the month of November. So ESPN could realistically be looking at 6 days a week of having college football, and then they would have the best inventory. I'm just telling you, they could roll Ohio State out there at noon, Alabama out there at 3:30, LSU at 7:30. Then it forces you to keep the TV on one channel all day, and they can mix and match, because I think CBS could get cut out of this deal. To be honest, they haven't done great ratings except for Oregon. Indiana was probably their top rated game all year, and it took them forever to get in the top 5. I think that was the first week they got in the top 5. They just didn't have good games, which I know they probably love having Ohio State. Ohio State draws a big number for them, so that's kind of some of the stuff trending at the moment. But we'll dive into some other things. North Dakota State making the transition to the Mountain West. I think this is an underrated move. As a quote from somebody from North Dakota State, there's no reason NDSU can't be in the conversation for the college football playoff. I mean, they've won a ton of national titles. Very, very interesting stuff, to say the least. I think that going forward, NDSU could come into the Mountain West year one and run the whole show. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. Some people may think you're crazy on that, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. But also, if you're watching on Twitter, come on over to YouTube and get interactive. The phone number, like I said, to call is 260-255-4069 is the number to call. So as we're looking at it, if anybody tries to call, let me go to the App Store real quick just to double check something. But also, NFL Combine, the quarterbacks are going to throw tomorrow. I find that they've made the NFL Combine a TV product, and then the draft's coming up in April. I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of stuff that comes out of the Combine. Also, Michigan down by 2 right now in the first half against Illinois. I took the Wolverines to win tonight in basketball straight up. So we'll see. The Illinois crowd looks like they are juiced to the gills. The Orange Crush is out in full force. They got people running around in the crowd, the whole Be Loud people. And yeah, that's gonna get it. So back to the NFL Combine. Teams with the most invites this year: Texas A&M 13, Alabama 12, Ohio State 11, LSU 11, Georgia, Miami, and Oklahoma also with 10 invites, and then universities with 9 invites: Iowa, Clemson, Florida, Penn State, Indiana. So a lot of guys from the respective schools there. So I think that is kind of interesting. And also we're going to get into the coaches tiers. And we'll start at scorching hot, pretty much my guys. I think this is the nation's consensus. CFB put this out. CFB Report put this out. They got the coaches. I believe this is only the Power 4. I find this fascinating. Oh, man, Michigan with another turnover. They are just not in sync. Big man for the 3, no bueno. So Michigan's got to slow it down and get under control. But anyway, coaches with the scorching hot seat. Mike Loxley, Shane Beamer, Dave Aranda, Luke Fickell, Mike Norvell. I'm not shocked by that. Coaches with a hot seat: Bill Belichick, Deion Sanders, Jeff Lebby. I'm shocked Lebby's on that in that scorching hot. I would have put him in the room temp. Just for the simple fact of Mississippi State, I think, knows who they are. I think that going forward, they're going to try to. I think they're just looking to get to bowl eligibility and maybe once every 3 years get competitive. I don't know. Also, phone line is open. Number to call: 260-255-4069 is the number to call. Coaches with a warm seat. I don't know if you can put Brett Venables on the warm side of things. He did make the college football playoff. They got bounced in the first round by Alabama. I just look at that and I think, I don't know about that. That seems like a reach for me. Same thing with DeBoer. He's protected by a giant buyout. I don't think so. Same thing with Lincoln Riley. They got Barry Odom on here at Purdue. I just want to say why Purdue's not. They've, for lack of a better term, they've punted football. There's no arguing with that. And Indiana is really good. They just won the national championship last year. So I don't know. Purdue, you better temper your expectations. And Rich Rod's on here. I don't know why his seat would even be warm. He just took over year 1 and it's got to completely bust toss a roster. Whatever. This isn't my list, but I disagree with that. And then guys that are room temperature: Pat Fitzgerald. It's basically everybody with the new coach. The Heupel stuff, I think with Tennessee, it's going to get interesting. Joey Aguilar not granted the eligibility. Josh Heupel's got to find a guy. I'm not shocked by that. And Michigan gets the and one. They needed that bucket. Eric Morris, Ryan Silverfield, Matt Rule. These are all room temperature guys. Dave Doran. I don't know. Does anybody really care about North Carolina State? Not that I'm saying Dave Doran's a bad coach. I just don't think he has the resources. Then you bump up to the cold. I don't know what makes John Summerall cold compared to Eric Morris at Oklahoma State. I think the Florida fan base is more unhinged than Oklahoma State's. I mean, Gundy was there for a trillion years, so whatever. And then guys with an ice cold seat. Brett Bielema at Illinois, not shocked. He kind of pulled that place back to what it was. Ron Zook had it cooking there for like a half a year. They were like ranked 1 year. I believe they started out 6-0 and then lost their last 6. And Ron Zook got fired. They hired like Lovie Smith and they ran through a cattle cave of guys there at Illinois. But Brett Bielema, guy knows how to win. He's won a lot of football games. So there's kind of that. Also, as I'm looking at it, I mean, you have Matt Campbell, Kalani Sitake on this list, Lane Kiffin, which that's subject to change week to week with Kiffin. So Mike Elko, Clark Lee. I would have put Clark Lee in the lifetime contract spot. Mario Cristobal, Manny Diaz. They seem to like Manny Diaz at Duke. I don't know how good they're going to be since they lost Darian Mensah to Miami. That kind of stinks for Miami, or not Miami, but Duke. And then Arizona State, Texas Tech. I think Joey McGuire needs one more year, but I think if Joey McGuire underachieves that, I think it could get weird out there in Lubbock, to be completely honest with you. And then the guys with the lifetime contract, Dan Signetti, Kirby Smart, Marcus Freeman, Kirk Ferentz, Dabo. I don't know. I think it's going to get contentious at Clemson with Dabo. I really do. So there's kind of that. The next drive, looking at Alabama's schedule, it says Alabama now has 4 non-conference scheduled games in 2028, but can only keep 3 of them due to the new SEC conference schedule. I'll read the games to you. Georgia State, Ohio State, UT Martin, and Oklahoma State. I think you're inept to see Alabama cancel the Ohio State game. I know there's a lot of speculation about that. I don't know if they've canceled it officially yet, but we'll see. I think they would keep the UT Martin, Georgia State, and Oklahoma State. But then again, you never know. The SEC going to the 9 conference games. I thought that was an interesting thing to pull there, but it is what it is. It just depends. A lot of it's all about perspective, to be completely honest with you, I think. But that's just me. Also, oh no, Dan Dockage retweeted the Justin Spiro article with his 2 cents. It says the most corrupt college football program in history. I don't think Dan's wrong. I think that's why they hired Kyle Whittingham. To be completely honest, I 100% think that's why they hired Whittingham. Yeah. So there's that. But also another statement. Cam Coleman, that's now at Texas, had a very interesting quote. Cam Coleman had a blank check from us. Trust me, he wasn't going to Texas for less. He got paid a ton. I don't know exactly who that was, but that was a quote by somebody out there. I think that's interesting to say the least. Also want to remind everybody the phone line is open. Number to call, it's on the ticker below. Number to call, 260-255-4069 is the number to call. So if you want to call in, we can talk about whatever. Talk hoops, maybe even a little college baseball. but that's kind of where we're at. Let me throw that up there just so everybody knows. So there is no wait for the phone line. Looking at the top 5 off-season QB battles at the schools, I think the notable ones, I think Eli Holstein versus Bo Perbula, very interesting to me. UVA had a kind of a magical year. They haven't been that good since I think the mid 90s. Tony Elliott got the Cavaliers cooking down there in I believe it's Charlottesville. I think that's number 3. Billy Edwards is competing for the starting job at North Carolina. I think that's a fascinating deal. And then it's Keelan Russell versus Austin Mack. I really, really think Austin Mack wins the job at Alabama. I mean, spring football hasn't started. I'm way out over my skis on that one, but I really think it'll be Austin Mack. Tennessee's got a QB battle. Nebraska's got a QB battle. So those are some of the notable QB battles going on this spring. And then Chandler Morris is suing the NCAA for his 7th year of eligibility. Don't know how that's going to shake out. These guys, excuse me, but these guys having all that. Also coming up here soon, the Indy 500 going to be going off soon. But there is a fascinating deal on the ways to fix college football. And the post is from CFB Central. It says the state of college football, or the CFB State of the Union. And here's some things that fans hated. Way too many commercials. I will second that. The media timeouts in college football, I get it. They got to have that advertising money, but it's not structured. It really isn't. It's sloppy. The product, it takes too long. Reviews are too long, especially with like I did an Ole Miss game, did a watch party for that. It was a 2-hour and 5-minute first half. That's how long the first half took because of all the ads. And the game, for the most part, wasn't super competitive, to be completely honest. It was Ole Miss, Kentucky. I really think that it would help if they would have done it better. But the commercials are out of hand. College football games taking too long. Here's something that me and Richie had been talking about. They posted the season needs to end on New Year's. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I don't know why the season needs to go past New Year's. They just need to move it up. I get it. It's going to change the calendar a lot. But if you have the season over to where the month of January could be the first 2 weeks of January is portal season, you could ditch spring football, go to an OTA style, which I think that would be the best for everybody. It would allow coach movement. It would allow player movement. And then you can get everything locked in so you know what your roster is going to be for that year. I would also put a caveat on it that if a kid is going to play a couple of games, he's going to play the 4 games and then redshirt. I think they're trying to bump up the redshirt number to where they could play at least 6 and still have an extra year. I don't know how that's going to shake out, but that's just kind of where we're at. Also, Michigan up on Illinois. Also, phone line is open. Number to call, 260-255-4069. Here's another thing that folks have been kind of complaining about. The conferences are ridiculous. Yes, I will second that. I think they need to bring back the Big East. I think they need to bring back the Pac-10 or Pac-12, whatever you call it. I think you could call it the Pac-10. You got to find a home for USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington, especially Washington State, Oregon State. It's just we're at the point to where we have schools that are in the Pacific Northwest playing in the Atlantic Coastal Conference. Does anybody else find that an issue? It's the stupidest thing in the world. It's dumb. Stanford should not be playing back-to-back weeks at Wake Forest and then Clemson or UVA. They got to travel clear across the country. It's just not feasible. So they got to do something with the conferences. And what if the ACC folds? What does Pitt, Boston College, Syracuse, what do they do? Because the Big Ten ain't taking them. And I don't think the SEC takes any of the ACC schools if they dissolve the conference. You guys better like the AAC, buddy. That's kind of what I'm looking at. I don't know who's going to take you. Because those programs, let's be real. They got Billy O'Brien at Boston College. He's a serious football guy. Coaching the NFL, won Super Bowls, done a lot of stuff in the NFL. From the Boston area, probably loves BC, family there, the whole thing. You got to invest in the program to make it successful, to be completely honest. And then it brings me to Pitt, especially with Narduzzi, which I'm shocked he's still the coach there. But, I mean, it's Pitt football. I mean, they're just lucky they're not in the MAC. I'm being serious. Because no one cares in Pittsburgh about Pitt football. It's a pro sports town. Just saying. But that's just my opinion. I don't know what they would do because the Big Ten wouldn't take them. They don't invest in football. They don't even have an on-campus stadium. And the kids got to go clear across town to go to that's why their attendance sucks. I've been to Pitt games. The attendance sucks unless, like, I went to the Clemson game. They brought a lot of people there. I'm sure they probably have good attendance for Notre Dame because there's more Notre Dame football fans than there are Pitt fans probably in Western PA, or the people travel there. But anyway, I'll stop bagging on Pitt. They're just lucky they're not in the MAC. But anyway, UCLA is going to be at SoFi. Very interesting. I think that is stupid. That's just my opinion. I don't know why they want to play at SoFi unless there's some monetary value, but whatever. Again, we're getting away from I don't think the Rose Bowl's on UCLA's campus, but it's just whatever. It's like you guys want to do some stupid stuff, go right ahead. Also that's on this list, go back to the old overtime rules. I don't disagree with that at all because the Texas A&M LSU game blew that for everybody. They're just, oh my gosh, it's so bad. Well, if somebody could get a stop or play defense, it wouldn't be that bad. I just think after the third overtime, a 2-point conversion is a hell of a way to lose a game, in my opinion. But I think it's dumb. Michigan with a bonehead turnover. Off the backboard, icebreaker. But though that's on the list as well. Go back to the old overtime rules. Don't disagree. Also, nobody wants Peacock. Yeah, I agree with that. Stop putting Peacock exclusive games out there if you're the Big Ten. I get it. NBC's got to make money, but I don't think anybody really wants Peacock. I don't think it's, to be completely honest, I don't think it's going to be, I don't think it's not applicable. Ooh, here we go. Alabama Supreme Court denies Charles Bediaco's request to play while the case is appealed. So the Alabama Supreme Court said, no, Mr. Bediaco. So that's kind of what they're dealing with. I'm sure Nate Oates is not happy, although Nate Oates isn't the king of the best sound bites over the years. So there's kind of that. What do we have here? Just looking at some other stuff here that we got going. But yeah, I'm not a fan of Peacock exclusive. Not just not great. I don't think it's. I just don't think it's good for the college football fan when you're having to have all of these streaming services. You have to have Peacock, you got to have Netflix, you got to have Amazon. I mean, just put it all in one spot to where we can watch it. I don't see what the big deal is. I just don't see it. I get it. It's all about money. Also, one of the board of regents at Michigan. Oh no, this is falling off the rails. Yikes. These University of Michigan assistant vice president for public affairs. These allegations are deeply concerning. As we've noted, the university launched an investigation into the circumstances and conduct leading to Sharon Moore's firing, as well as a border culture review of the athletic department. We continue to urge anyone with relevant information to reach out to the law firm conducting the investigation at the blah 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 blah. The university is working, and we will be able to share more when it's completed. It's basically the website. But Tony Garcia, the Detroit Free Press, throws out there a statement from Paul there, the assistant vice president for public affairs for the University of Michigan, and then Sarah Hubbard as a leader at the University of Michigan. I'm devastated to learn of these allegations. I urge anyone with knowledge of this incident or any other related incidents to share information ASAP. And then our boy Justin Spiro comes back with a body bag to her. Let me find his response because he retweeted it. Hold on, where was that? Oh, I gotta find that now because Spiro retweeted it. Gotta find it. It was a little bit ago. But also, if you guys want to talk about it, phone line is open. Number to call 260-255-4069 is the number to call. This Michigan stuff, the allegations, it is going off the rails. I know some people in the Michigan beat have kind of credited Spiro, not as much as I think they should have. But I gotta find that. Tony Garcia's thing, or his tweet. So where? All right, bear with me here. I'm trying to find it because I want to see what the because the Board of Regents, Sarah Hubbard, and then Spiro quote tweeted it and said, back to what he said. Spiro said, your school was informed 41 days ago and you did absolutely nothing. Be disgusted with yourselves. That is true. They were, I mean, Spiro probably isn't lying. He's got the timestamps. Very, very interesting stuff, to say the least. So, the Board of Regents Spiro body bags are just no good. Not good. Also, back to the list after that short Michigan news, but phone line is open. Number to call 260-255-4069. Michigan basketball up in a tight one here at Illinois on the road. Got to get this up and going. But yeah, that's the number to call. It's on the ticker below. Then also, every idea that Tony Petitti's came up with sucks. That's not particularly a bad idea, because I hate his playoff format. I'm just saying it's stupid. But there's that. Also, if you're new here, do us the biggest favor, hit that like and subscribe button. We're going to keep going for a little bit longer. I just think the University of Michigan, that whole tidbit, tough sledding, to be completely honest. An unfortunate situation. So there's kind of that out there flapping in the wind. I'm sure there's going to be blowback, and they're going to do an internal investigation. They're going to talk to people. I'd say the guys in the NFL aren't going to talk. LaTroy Lewis, I believe the gentleman's name is, his coaching career is probably over unless he takes a D2 job somewhere in there, or a relatively unknown job, and he's under the radar. But I think something like this, it's hard to get that stain out. Same thing with Sharon Moore. I think Sharon Moore will have to take quite a bit of time left, and I think there's only one university that could hire him, which would be Oklahoma. To be honest, his alma mater. Also on this list of ways to fix college football, the 12-team playoff is good, but it needs tweaks. I don't disagree. I really don't. I don't really have much pushback, other than they let 2 group of 5s in. That's kind of my thing. I think that going forward, I think that that's not it. Look, if they would have put Notre Dame in the college football playoff and left JMU out, I'm sure JMU is going to get pissed, but you wouldn't have had that much of a debate if they just would have went and put Notre Dame in. The Notre Dame, Bavacqua, they all kind of feel like the ACC screwed them. I think that partnership is going to be over sooner rather than later. Football wise, I think that they're going to strike a partnership with the SEC next to secure their future, because I think the SEC schools like scheduling Notre Dame. It's advantageous for both sides on the TV end of it. They both really like it. Notre Dame, Arkansas did good numbers, even though it was a snoozer. Notre Dame crushed Arkansas, but Notre Dame's got a home and home coming up with Auburn. So I think that's positive going forward, to be completely honest. So there's my little tidbit on that. Also on this list, abolishing targeting. I'm not saying get rid of targeting. You can have it in there. I'm just saying at least make it a second offense before you throw a kid out. And I think the carryover suspension sucks. I believe the rules committee is going to address that. And if it's a blatant where the kid launches and it's everything that is textbook that they quote unquote in the NCAA eyes consider a dirty hit, by all means, you guys are the ones that have to do that. But I don't think suspending a kid for the second half or the first half of the next game is a good idea. I think it's stupid. I think the first offense in targeting, the kid's done for the quarter, regardless of what quarter it is. It could be the first, second, third, or fourth. He's done like dinner for the end of the quarter. So if it's in the second quarter, he can come back and play in the second half. If he gets another one in the game, which would be 2, he's done for the rest of the evening. That's fine. And then he can start the next game. And then I would say there's got to be a progressive discipline. If you come into the game with 2 targetings already, you get another one, you're done for the complete remainder of the game. And then you go into the next one, You have to have a progressive discipline plan. And also, I think that's better than kicking the kid out, and because if he gets a targeting in the second quarter, he's going to miss essentially 2 football games. He can't play. So that's just my opinion. I'm not for not letting kids play. Also, on this list of fixing college football, can't keep milking fans for money. Yeah, we talked about the Oklahoma thing, about the Oklahoma season tickets, about how they transitioned a certain section of the stadium into box seats. They're going to be like $22,000 a year, which is absolutely ridiculous. People that have had tickets there since the 40s. I mean, they're trying to turn it into what the NFL is. I mean, seriously. When you drive all the real fans out, your money is going to dry up, because essentially when you have big corporate partners, we'll take who sucks out loud, LSU at the end of the year when they fired Brian Kelly. You think they look at Death Valley for the last couple of games when they knew the season was over? People stopped coming. And when you price out the normal fans that go regardless, when you price those people out and you have these big stadiums, they're going to look empty. I'm just telling you, whether you're good or not. Well, if you're good, everybody loves a winner. But when you suck, like the last couple of years, like what Mississippi State's been, it's going to look empty. Kind of like, not to throw dirt on Matt Luke, but what Vaughn Hemingway looked like during the Luke era when they knew it was over. So if I'm the universities, I would choose wisely on what games you're trying to completely sell the fans down the river on, to be completely honest. I know some people will probably disagree with me on that, but I think that it's something that should be discussed and something that should be talked about. But what do I know? I'm just a guy with a microphone and a camera. Another thing on this list, get rid of international games. I agree. Stop making the Big 12 and the ACC play conference games overseas. Rough. Just not the greatest look. Kansas State, Iowa State last year, obviously that was the notable game where Avery Johnson and his dad and brother getting a fist fight in a puddle outside the stadium. I think that's forever going to go down in college football history, of the Johnson family scrum after they lost to Iowa State. But yeah, the international games are awful. Like, if Notre Dame wants to do that, by all means. Notre Dame wants to play Navy in Ireland, cool. More power to you. Notre Dame can use that for promotional reasons. The University of Notre Dame probably loves it. All eyes on them. They get to do the whole game day experience, kind of like what they did with the Shamrock Series when they went out to Vegas, when they went to Chicago, to all the other various venues, that they bring the Notre Dame home atmosphere on the road. It's for recruiting. It's kind of what Notre Dame did, and they kind of got away from that. I'm sure if you hand somebody a map of the United States, they probably couldn't tell you where Manhattan, Kansas is, or where Ames, Iowa's at. So I'm just saying, you guys can do what you want, college football, but in my opinion, the international games stink out loud. They suck. I want nothing to do with them. I mean, I'm going to watch them. Although that should have been, the warning sign should have went off last year when Georgia Tech beat Florida State. I mean, just very, very, I mean, it's rough and tumble down there for Mike Norvell. It ain't looking good. I'm just saying it ain't looking good for the home team. But I'll be interested to see if Fox tries to do something with the international games. I think they had Michigan and Western Michigan trying to play in like Germany or something like that. They don't care. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to grow the brand like the NFL does. Like the NFL's international games, but college football doesn't have the audience that the NFL does. I think this is where the people who run TV and college football misread the audience. They would make a ton of money, and it would be cool because that international game is kind of like a bowl game. Instead of canceling the bowl games, play them at the beginning of the year in week 1. And everybody plays a neutral site game, whether it's their bye games, whether it's this, whether it's that. It would be easier at the end of the year. You can have a clean, dry playoff, no bowl games. It would be good. Did they call that? Oh, they called that goaltending. Come on, man. Don't do that. Also, Illinois putting on the full court press. Also on this list, we're getting ready to get everybody out of here. I get it, Friday night. Probably be back with you tomorrow night as well. I think so. I think we'll come back tomorrow night. Call-in show, probably about 8, 9, if that's what everybody's up to. Do a little late night call-in show, see what you guys want to talk about, do a little watch party action, maybe. Ooh, in and out. But also the replays on this list take way too long. I would agree. The NFL is experimenting with having what is it? They're experimenting with having officials from replay call penalties. When you start doing that, it's over. It's over. Don't do that. Have it called on the field regardless, right, wrong, or indifferent. If you dislike it, the officiating's bad, especially in the SEC. After what we've seen last year, Auburn, Georgia, I think Auburn wins that game if Jackson Arnold scores that touchdown. I think Auburn wins that game. And Hugh Freeze is probably still the coach at Auburn. I know people will probably try to fight me on that one, but I think that flips their season. He gets a big win, big signature win. And at Auburn, that Georgia game's a big deal. But anyway, replays too long. Michigan got a player hurt. They are up 7 almost at the end of the first half. So there is kind of that. Also on this list, it says need more playoff games on campus. Yes, I agree. I think the only time they should have off-campus playoff games is the semifinals or the semifinals and the national championship. Make it the Rose Fiesta and rotate it with Orange and Fiesta every other year. I think Sugar Bowl, Rose Bowl, and then Fiesta and Orange Bowl. And then wherever the national championship's going to be. I don't think that's a bad idea because the electric the electric atmospheres at all the venues, especially when they opened up at Notre Dame, Ohio State, the home playoff game, it's awesome for the fans, and it cuts down the travel because realistically, when you think about it, if you were Miami had a home. Who'd Miami play in the first round? I got to think now. Let me look. I got to look this up now because it's gonna irritate me. I can't think of who Miami played in the first round. See, that's how long it's been since the college football playoff first round was, because that was in the second week of December. So semifinals should be rotated between the 4 major bowl games. But Miami had to go on the road. So if you're a Miami fan, you had to travel from, let's just say you live in Dade County. You had to go there 1 week. You had to go to College Station. The next week, you had to go to Dallas for the Cotton Bowl. Then the week after that, you had to go to Arizona for the Fiesta Bowl to take on Ole Miss, and then you're back at home. But if you were an Indiana fan that made it all the way to the Final Four, you just had to go to Pasadena, and then you had to go to Atlanta, and then Miami. You had to travel to 3 different cities 3 weekends, or, well, not 3 weekends in a row, but a couple weekends. That's a lot of money. I think if they would have played 2 on-campus games, you have the semifinals and final at destination spots. You're trying to make this thing mini NFL. That's what the NFL does, and they don't even do neutral sites. The only neutral site game all year is either international games or the Super Bowl. Also, on this list, I am hesitant on agreeing with this, but it says let the fans rush the field. That's a double-edged sword. I think that if the fans want to rush the field, they need to get the opposing team off the field. Put a timer up that says you can storm at this time. When it hits 0, security, the police, they all get the hell out of the way and let them just go. Let them have a good time. Let them tear the goalpost down like they did at Vanderbilt for that legendary win. And although they fished the goalpost out of the river and cut it up and sold it, so hey, what does that say? Vanderbilt not leaving $1 on the table. They sold pylons. They sold all kinds of stuff out of that. But that's kind of where that's at. I just think that's fascinating, to say the least. Also, a couple of games ago, I don't think anybody's talking about Notre Dame hoops. I think they've hit an all-time low. Duke handed them I think it was a couple weeks ago, handed them their worst home loss since 1898. They lost 100-56. That is embarrassing, to say the least. I look at it and I think that going forward, there's definitely some ways that Notre Dame's got to improve. It's very, very fascinating, to say the least. But I also don't think there's a lot of NIL getting invested into basketball. But you didn't hear that from me. I guess also June 5th, I seen that they posted Post Malone and Jelly Roll are going to Vaught Hemingway. So they're making a little coinage there. I see you, Ole Miss. So yeah, there's going to be some stuff. Also, got to follow up with a couple of folks on some interviews that I got going. Got some irons in the fire, bringing in some guests. Hopefully you can get that figured out. But so there's kind of that. Also, I think the more and more I'm thinking about it, I think we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow night anyway. I was just curious on trying to gauge what you guys thought about that. But yeah, we're kind of here's an interesting thing. Just this little interesting thing that I found. In December of 2022, James Madison head coach Curt Cignetti interviewed for the open head coaching position at the University of Cincinnati following the Luke Fickell departure. AD John Cunningham ended up telling Curt Cignetti due to the fact that he had no Power 4 experience, instead he hired Scott Satterfield, which was a 500 coach. This is the decision that has set the Cincinnati Bearcat program back 10 years. What this program could have been with Cignetti at the helm. Ouch. That hurts. Also, this will be the last thing. In 2027, the NHL Winter Classic will be played at Utah Utes Field, or Utah Utes football field, Rice-Eccles Stadium. The Utah Mammoth will host in their third season in the league. Stadium seats over 54,000 fans, and I bet they sell that. I bet they sell that out, and I bet it is. I bet they try to get that every year. I bet they'll get that. I bet they'll try to sell that, or try to have a Winter Classic game every year. I about bet you on that. Utah will be on that, I think, anyway. But it just depends. if the NHL allows them to, which I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, to be completely honest. But anyway, I guess at kind of at this juncture, I guess we'll cut it off there. Appreciate everybody who tuned in to watch. Do us the biggest favor if you watch it all the way to the end on the replay. If you like the show, do us the biggest favor by hitting the like and subscribe button. Also, go check out our friends at Williams Auto Parts. Phone number 260-726-8001. Also, they're open on Saturdays, or I think they're closed on Saturday, but go give those guys a call if you are looking for new and used auto parts. Go see Rocky, go see Heath. They will treat you right. So with that being said, we will talk to everybody tomorrow night. Have a good night, everybody.